The successful person is the one who can lay a firm foundation with the bricks others have thrown at them. If you've ever felt stuck, frustrated, or wondering why your life isn't changing, the answer is simple. You are not consistent. It's not because you lack talent, intelligence, or potential. It's because you don't show up every single day and do the work, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't feel like it. Most people fail, not because they aren't capable, but because they give up too soon. They start strong, fueled by excitement, but the moment things get tough, they stop. They wait for the perfect time or a burst of motivation. But the harsh truth, motivation is a liar. It will fail you. The only thing that will carry you to success is discipline, consistency, and relentless action. The most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation. They don't wait to feel like it. They force themselves to be consistent every single day until their actions become automatic. Today, I'm going to show you how to destroy inconsistency, master discipline, and finally take control of your life. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I reveal the exact strategies you need to force yourself to be consistent, so you can break free from failure and start winning. Number 1, show up every day, no matter what. Success doesn't belong to the smartest. It doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the ones who show up every single day, no matter what. Think about it. How many times have you started something with excitement, only to stop when things got tough? How many goals have you abandoned because you didn't feel like continuing? That's the difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck. The ones who win don't rely on feelings. They rely on action. Showing up is the hardest part, but it's also the most important. It's easy to work hard when you feel motivated, but what about when you're tired? What about when nothing seems to be working? That's when most people give up. But those who push through, who force themselves to show up anyway, are the ones who separate themselves from the rest. You have to understand something. Success is not a single event. It's not one big breakthrough. It's the result of small, consistent actions repeated over time. You don't build a strong body by going to the gym once. You don't become a master at your craft by practicing only when you feel inspired. You don't build a business by working hard for a few weeks and then quitting. You win by showing up over and over again. And here's the secret. The more you show up, the easier it gets. Consistency builds momentum. When you force yourself to work, even on the days you don't feel like it, you train your brain to push forward automatically. It stops being a choice. It becomes who you are. So the question is, will you be the person who quits when it gets tough? Or will you be the person who forces themselves to show up no matter what? Make the decision today. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start now. Show up tomorrow. And never stop. Number 2, motivation is a liar. Most people fail because they believe in a lie. They think motivation is the key to success. They wait for inspiration, for the right mood, for the perfect energy to take action. But here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation will fail you. Motivation is like a spark. It burns bright, but it fades just as fast. Think about all the times you felt excited to start something. Maybe it was a new workout plan, a new business idea, or a goal to wake up early and be more productive. At first, you were on fire. You were unstoppable. But then one day you didn't feel like it. You were tired. You were stressed. You told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. And just like that, the habit was broken. That's why motivation is a lie. Because when it disappears, most people stop. They wait for it to come back, but it never does. That's why so many people live their lives stuck in a cycle of starting and stopping, never making real progress. So what's the answer? It's discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter if you're unmotivated. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I do what I said I would do. This is what separates winners from losers. Losers let their emotions control their actions. Winners train themselves to take action, no matter what. Think about the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the world's top performers. Do you think they wake up every day feeling motivated? No. They wake up some days feeling just like you, tired, uninspired, overwhelmed, but they show up anyway, because they know that discipline is stronger than feelings. And the good news, discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So how do you build discipline? You start small. You don't wait until you feel ready. You don't overthink it. You just start. If you don't feel like working out, do it anyway. Even if it's just for 5 minutes. If you don't feel like working on your goals, sit down and do it, just for 10 minutes. Because once you start, momentum takes over. And momentum leads to consistency. The next time you don't feel like doing something, remember this: your feelings don't matter. Your actions do. Successful people don't wait for motivation. They force themselves to be consistent, no matter what. So will you keep waiting, or will you finally take control? Number 3, excuses are the enemy. Destroy them now. Excuses are the silent killers of success. They disguise themselves as logical reasons, but in reality, they are nothing more than well-crafted lies. You tell yourself to feel comfortable. Every time you say, "I don't have time," or "I'll start tomorrow," you are building a wall between yourself and your goals. The truth is, you do have time, you do have the energy, you do have the ability. But instead of pushing forward, you let your excuses keep you stuck. And here's the worst part: you actually believe them. You convince yourself that your reasons for not taking action are valid, but deep down you know the truth. You are choosing comfort over progress. Think about this. Successful people and unsuccessful people both have the same 24 hours in a day. They both face challenges. They both have distractions. The difference? Successful people don't let excuses stop them. They don't give themselves an option to quit. They push through no matter what. They understand that excuses feel good in the moment, but destroy you in the long run. Every time you choose an excuse over action, you are choosing failure over success. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is, "I don't have time." But let's be honest, you don't lack time. You lack priorities. If something is important enough, you will make time for it. Look at your day. How much time do you spend on your phone? How much time do you waste scrolling through social media, watching Netflix, or doing things that don't serve your future? If you have time for those things, then you have time to work on your goals. The truth is, when people say, "I don't have time," what they really mean is, it's not a priority. And that's the hard truth you need to face. If you truly want something, you will find a way. If you don't, you will find an excuse. Another common excuse is, "I'm too tired." Everyone is tired. Everyone has days where they don't feel like doing the work. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Successful people take action, even when they're tired. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, where you have unlimited energy and no distractions, you will be waiting forever. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The only moment that matters is right now. The truth is, you will always be tired. There will always be stress. There will always be obstacles. But if you let those things control you, you will never move forward. Excuses also come in the form of procrastination. "I'll start tomorrow" is one of the biggest lies you can tell yourself. Tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into next month. And before you know it, a year has passed, and you are still in the exact same place. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need to take action right now. When you tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," what you're really saying is, "I don't have the discipline to start today." And if you don't have the discipline to start now, what makes you think you'll have it tomorrow? If you want to break free from the cycle of excuses, you have to make a decision. A decision that from this moment on, excuses will no longer control you. You have to be brutally honest with yourself. Stop sugarcoating your excuses. Call them out for what they are: lies. When you hear yourself saying, "I don't have time," correct it. "I haven't made it a priority." When you say, "I'm too tired," remind yourself, "I can still do something, even if it's small." Excuses thrive on weakness, and the only way to kill them is by taking action. There is no magic solution to overcoming excuses. You simply have to stop allowing them to dictate your life. Stop waiting. Whatever you've been delaying, start right now. Even if it's just one small step, do something. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the right time. The moment you take action, you break the cycle of excuses. Successful people don't have more time than you. They don't have more energy. They don't have fewer distractions. They have the same struggles, the same tiredness, the same temptations to delay things. But they refuse to let excuses win. Excuses will always be there. They will always try to pull you back into comfort, into laziness, into failure. But you have a choice. You can let excuses run your life, or you can take control. If you let them win, you'll stay stuck in the same place, wondering why nothing ever changes. But if you destroy them now, if you decide to act despite your feelings, you will unlock a level of success and progress that most people will never experience. Excuses are the enemy. Destroy them now and start building the life you actually want. Number 4. Your habits decide your future. You are not defined by what you say you'll do. You are defined by what you actually do every single day. Your habits shape your reality. They determine whether you succeed or fail. Most people think success is about big decisions, massive breakthroughs, or sudden, life-changing moments. But the truth is, success is simply the result of small, repeated actions over time. Look at your life right now. Where you are today is a direct result of the habits you've built. Whether good or bad, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you aren't making progress, it's not because you're unlucky. It's not because life is unfair. It's because your daily habits are keeping you in the same place. Think about this. If you wake up late every day, scroll through your phone for hours, skip workouts, and procrastinate on your goals, do you really expect your life to change? On the other hand, if you wake up early, exercise, read, work on your skills, and push yourself to improve every day, do you think you will stay the same? Of course not. The actions you take consistently become the life you live. The biggest mistake people make is believing that their habits don't matter. They think missing one workout, skipping one productive hour, or indulging in distractions won't make a difference. But small habits compound over time. A single action may not seem like much in the moment, but when repeated daily, it creates a powerful effect. Imagine two people. One decides to read for 30 minutes every day, while the other spends 30 minutes scrolling through social media. After a day, the difference is nothing. After a month, it's small. But after a year, one person has gained knowledge, discipline, and a strong mindset, while the other has wasted hundreds of hours. This is how success works. It's not about giant leaps. It's about the tiny choices you make every single day. If you keep making the right choices, success becomes inevitable. If you keep making the wrong ones, failure becomes unavoidable. So how do you take control of your habits? First, you need to identify the ones that are keeping you stuck. Be brutally honest with yourself. What are the things you do every day that waste time, drain your energy, and prevent you from making progress? Maybe it's excessive social media use, skipping workouts, hitting the snooze button, or constantly putting off important tasks. Whatever it is, you need to break the cycle. The best way to eliminate bad habits is not by sheer willpower, but by replacing them with better ones. If you check your phone first thing in the morning, replace it with reading for 5 minutes. If you find yourself watching too much TV, replace that time with a productive hobby. Small shifts in your habits can lead to massive changes over time. One of the most effective ways to build new habits is through a strategy called habit stacking. This means attaching a new habit to an existing one. For example, if you already drink coffee in the morning, use that time to read a few pages of a book. If you brush your teeth at night, add a habit of writing down your goals for the next day. By linking new habits to routines you already follow, they become automatic. Another key to mastering habits is consistency. Most people fail because they expect instant results. They start a new habit, and after a week, when they don't see massive progress, they give up. But success isn't about quick results. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. The key is to focus on progress, not perfection. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. The secret to lasting success is making good habits your identity. Instead of saying, "I want to work out," say, "I am someone who works out." Instead of saying, "I want to be disciplined," say, "I am a disciplined person." When you shift your identity, your actions follow. You are not someone who forces themselves to be productive. You are someone who naturally takes action because that is who you are. At the end of the day, success is not a mystery. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's the result of your daily habits. If you want to change your life, you have to change what you do every day. Your habits decide your future. Make sure they are leading you to the life you actually want. Number 5. The 1% rule. Tiny steps, massive success. Most people fail because they think success comes from one big moment, one breakthrough, or one massive action. They believe they need to make a drastic change all at once to see results. But the truth is, real success doesn't work that way. It's not about taking one giant leap. It's about taking small, consistent steps every single day. This is the 1% rule. The idea that improving by just 1% every day leads to massive transformation over time. At first, it seems like nothing is changing, but over weeks, months, and years, these small improvements compound into something extraordinary. The problem is, most people give up before they see the results. They want instant gratification. They want progress to be obvious and immediate. And when it isn't, they quit. Imagine two people starting on the same journey. One improves just 1% every day, while the other stays the same. After a week, the difference is barely noticeable. After a month, it's small. But after a year, the person who improved by just 1% daily is on a completely different level. This is the power of consistency. The mistake most people make is thinking small actions don't matter. They assume that skipping one workout, eating one unhealthy meal, or procrastinating for one day won't make a difference. And in the moment, it doesn't. But when repeated over time, these small choices shape your future. Just like a single drop of water means nothing, but millions of drops create an ocean. Your small daily actions create the life you live. The key to making the 1% rule work is shifting your mindset. Instead of looking for quick results, you have to trust the process. Progress will be slow. It will feel like nothing is changing. You will question whether your efforts are making a difference. But that's exactly where most people fail. They stop when they don't see immediate results. What they don't realize is that success takes time to build. Just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean it's not happening. Think about a bamboo tree. For years, it shows no visible growth. It stays beneath the ground, growing roots, unseen and unnoticed. But then, almost overnight, it shoots up rapidly. That's exactly how progress works. It's invisible at first, but when you stay consistent, the results will eventually explode. So how do you apply the 1% rule in your own life? Start by making small changes. If you want to get in shape, don't try to work out for 2 hours on the first day. Just start with 5 minutes. If you want to build a business, don't wait until you have everything figured out. Just take one small step forward today. If you want to develop discipline, don't try to overhaul your entire routine overnight. Just focus on one habit at a time. The goal is to be slightly better today than you were yesterday. Not perfect, not a drastic change, just a little bit better. The beauty of the 1% rule is that it removes the pressure of needing to see instant results. It allows you to focus on consistency instead of chasing quick success. And when you commit to getting just a little bit better every single day, something incredible happens. You start building unstoppable momentum. Momentum is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. When you consistently take small steps, progress gets easier. What once felt difficult becomes second nature. And before you know it, your actions become habits. Your habits shape your identity, and your identity defines your success. Most people spend their lives waiting for motivation, waiting for inspiration, waiting for the perfect moment. But successful people don't wait. They take action, small, consistent action every day. They trust the process, even when it feels slow. They understand that the journey to success isn't about huge, dramatic changes. It's about small daily improvements that compound over time. So ask yourself, are you willing to commit to just 1% improvement every day? Are you willing to trust the process, even when you don't see immediate results? Because if you are, there's one thing you need to understand. Success is inevitable for those who stay consistent. The only question is, will you be one of them? Number 6, fail, learn, repeat, until you win. Most people fear failure. They see it as an ending, a sign that they're not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough. They take failure personally, as if it defines them. But here's the truth. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is your greatest teacher. Look at any successful person in history and you will see a trail of failures behind them. They didn't reach success because they avoided failure. They reached success because they failed, learned, adjusted, and kept going. The difference between winners and losers is not talent. It's not intelligence. It's that winners fail and keep moving forward, while losers fail and give up. The problem is most people let failure break them. They start a new goal, full of energy and excitement. But the moment they hit a setback, they stop. They say, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I'm not meant to succeed. They take failure as a sign to quit instead of using it as a lesson to improve. Failure is not a stop sign. It's a checkpoint. It's the universe asking you, how bad do you want it? If you quit, you never really wanted it in the first place. But if you get back up, analyze what went wrong, and keep moving forward, you are on the path to greatness. Every time you fail, you gain valuable experience. You learn what doesn't work. You get stronger, wiser, more prepared for the next challenge. The biggest mistake people make is thinking that failure is the opposite of success. It's not. Failure is part of success. You can't have one without the other. Every great success story is built on a foundation of failures. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. J.K. Rowling was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. These people didn't stop when they failed. They failed forward. They used failure as fuel to push harder, to improve, to get better. So why are you afraid to fail? Why do you let setbacks stop you? The only real failure in life is giving up. As long as you keep trying, as long as you keep pushing, you are still in the game. You haven't lost until you quit. The key to overcoming failure is to change how you see it. Instead of thinking, I failed, shift your mindset to, I learned. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Every failure carries a lesson. If you take the lesson and apply it, you move forward. If you ignore the lesson and quit, you stay stuck. The fastest way to succeed is to fail faster. Most people waste time trying to avoid failure, trying to play it safe, trying to be perfect. But perfection is an illusion. No one starts out great. No one gets it right the first time. If you want to succeed faster, fail faster. Take action, make mistakes, learn from them, and adjust. The more you fail, the faster you learn, the sooner you succeed. This is how the greatest achievers operate. They don't avoid failure, they embrace it. They take risks. They put themselves in situations where failure is possible because they know that's where growth happens. They understand that every failure brings them one step closer to success. So from this moment on, stop fearing failure. Stop avoiding it. Go all in, knowing that setbacks will come, mistakes will happen, and obstacles will appear. But none of that matters. What matters is that you keep going. What matters is that you refuse to quit. The world belongs to those who are willing to fail their way to success. Will you be one of them? Number 7. Hold yourself accountable. If you don't hold yourself accountable, you will never reach your full potential. Most people fail, not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they lack the discipline to hold themselves to a higher standard. They blame circumstances, distractions, and other people. But the real problem is that they refuse to take full responsibility for their actions. Look at your life right now. Every success you've had, every failure you've experienced, it all comes down to one thing: your choices. You are where you are today because of the decisions you have made consistently over time. The question is, are you willing to take full ownership of your life? Because until you do, nothing will change. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for someone else to push them. They think a mentor, a coach, a boss, or a family member will keep them on track. But here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. No one is going to hold your hand every step of the way. If you want success, you have to be your own leader. You have to be the one who demands more from yourself, even when no one is watching. Most people set goals, but they don't follow through because there's no real consequence if they fail. They say, I'll wake up early, but when they hit snooze, nothing happens. They say, I'll work out, but when they skip the gym, there's no immediate punishment. And because they don't hold themselves accountable, they fall into the trap of inconsistency. This is why successful people operate differently. They treat their commitments to themselves as non-negotiable. If they say they'll do something, they do it. No matter what, they don't wait for someone to check on them. They don't make excuses. They understand that the only way to build self-respect and confidence is to keep the promises they make to themselves. The secret to holding yourself accountable is to eliminate the option of failure. You need to create systems that force you to stay on track, even when you don't feel like it. One of the best ways to do this is to set up real consequences. If you struggle with discipline, attach a consequence to your failure. Tell a friend that if you don't stick to your plan, you'll send them money. Announce your goal publicly so you feel the pressure to follow through. Put yourself in a position where quitting is more painful than continuing. Another powerful strategy is tracking your progress. If you're not measuring your efforts, you have no idea whether you're improving or not. Keep a daily log of your actions. If your goal is to work out, track your workouts. If your goal is to build a business, track how many hours you put in The act of writing things down forces you to be honest with yourself. You can't lie to yourself when the numbers are right in front of you. But accountability isn't just about tracking progress. It's also about being brutally honest with yourself. Most people deceive themselves. They make excuses, justify their laziness, and convince themselves that they're doing their best, when in reality, they're not even close. If you want to level up, you need to call yourself out when you're slacking. You need to stop accepting mediocrity from yourself. If you fail, own it. If you're making excuses, stop. If you're not putting in the work, admit it and fix it. At the end of the day, accountability is about self-respect. The more you follow through on your commitments, the more you trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, confidence grows. Most people struggle with self-doubt because deep down, they know they can't rely on themselves. They've broken too many promises to themselves. But the good news is, this can change. The moment you start showing up for yourself every single day, the moment you stop making excuses and start demanding more from yourself, everything shifts. So stop waiting. Stop looking for external motivation. Stop expecting someone else to push you. The only person responsible for your success is you. Hold yourself accountable. Do what you said you would do and watch your entire life change. Number 8, trust the process, even when it feels like nothing is changing. One of the biggest reasons people fail is because they quit too soon. They start something with excitement, with big dreams, and a clear vision of what they want. But when results don't come fast enough, they get frustrated. They doubt themselves. They wonder if they're wasting their time, and eventually they give up. This is where most people fail. Not because they lack talent, not because they aren't capable, but because they don't trust the process. They expect success to come quickly, and when it doesn't, they assume something is wrong. But the truth is, real success is slow. It's invisible at first. It happens behind the scenes, long before you ever see the results. Think about a seed planted in the ground. For weeks, there's no visible growth. It looks like nothing is happening. But under the surface, the roots are growing, strengthening, preparing to break through. And then one day, seemingly out of nowhere, the seed sprouts into a plant. That's exactly how progress works. You don't see it at first, but if you stay consistent, if you keep watering the seed, if you trust the process, growth is happening, whether you can see it or not. The problem is, most people don't have the patience for this. They want instant gratification. They want to see results right away. And when they don't, they get discouraged. They start second-guessing everything. Maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe I should try something else. Maybe I'm just not good enough. And so they stop. They dig up the seed before it ever has a chance to grow. This is why success is rare, because most people lack the patience to stick with something long enough to see the results. They quit just before the breakthrough. They don't realize that if they had pushed just a little bit further, if they had stayed committed just a little bit longer, everything would have started falling into place. The key to trusting the process is shifting your focus from immediate results to daily actions. Instead of obsessing over how far you have to go, focus on what you need to do today. Stop worrying about whether or not it's working. Just do the work. Show up every single day, no matter what. Because the truth is, progress is happening. You just can't see it yet. Look at any successful person. They didn't achieve success overnight. They spent years working in the dark, with no recognition, no validation, no guarantees. But they kept going anyway. They trusted the process. They understood that every action, no matter how small, was adding up, and eventually, the results came. So the question is, can you keep going even when it feels like nothing is changing? Can you stay disciplined even when there's no immediate reward? Can you trust that your effort will pay off even if you don't see the results right away? Most people can't. That's why they stay stuck. That's why they jump from goal to goal, always starting over, never making real progress. They never trust the process long enough to see it through. But if you want to be different, if you want to break through, you have to train yourself to be patient. You have to stop looking for shortcuts. You have to commit to the long game. Because the truth is, success is never a straight line. It's a process of slow, steady progress, followed by moments of sudden breakthroughs. But you will never reach those breakthroughs if you give up. When things get hard, the reality is there will be days when you feel like nothing is working. There will be times when you question whether all this effort is even worth it. but that's exactly when you need to keep going. Because those moments of doubt, those moments when you feel like giving up, are the moments right before a breakthrough. Success is not about speed, it's about endurance. It's about showing up day after day, even when progress is invisible. It's about putting in the work, trusting that if you stay consistent, the results will come. So no matter where you are in your journey right now, keep going. Trust that every effort you put in is moving you forward, even if you can't see it yet. Because one day you will look back and everything will make sense. You will realize that every small step mattered. You will see how far you've come, and you will understand that the only way to lose was to quit too soon. So don't quit. Stay patient. Stay disciplined. Trust the process. Number 9, control your actions. Control your life. Discipline is the foundation of success. Without it, talent means nothing. Intelligence means nothing. Even motivation, which people obsess over, is useless without discipline. The simple truth is this: if you cannot control your actions, you will never control your results. Most people fail because they lack discipline. They do what's easy instead of what's necessary. They follow their emotions instead of their commitments. They work hard when they feel like it, but quit the moment things get uncomfortable. And that is why they stay stuck. Because success is not about doing the right thing once. It's about doing the right thing over and over again, especially when you don't feel like it. The strongest people in the world are not the most motivated. They are the most disciplined. They wake up early even when they're tired. They train even when they don't feel like it. They stick to their plans even when distractions are everywhere. They don't wait for inspiration. They don't rely on mood. They do what needs to be done, no matter what. Most people think discipline is restrictive, like a form of punishment. But in reality, discipline is freedom. It gives you the power to take control of your life. Without discipline, you are a slave to your impulses. You eat what you crave instead of what your body needs. You spend money on things you don't need instead of saving for what truly matters. You procrastinate instead of working toward your goals. And before you know it, your life is controlled by bad habits instead of your own choices. Discipline is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who only dream about them. It is the ability to push forward even when your mind screams at you to stop. It is choosing long-term success over short-term comfort. It is forcing yourself to do the hard things, knowing that those are the things that will make you stronger. So how do you build discipline? The first step is to stop negotiating with yourself. Most people lose the battle in their own minds before they even take action. They say, I'll go to the gym if I feel up to it, or I'll start my work after I rest for a little bit. This is where failure begins. The moment you allow yourself an option, you've already lost. Discipline means doing it anyway, whether you feel like it or not, whether it's convenient or not. The second step is to create unbreakable habits. Discipline is not something you wake up with. It's something you build over time. Start by setting small, non-negotiable habits. If you say you will wake up at 5 a.m., wake up at 5 a.m. If you say you will work on your goals for 1 hour, do it. The more you train yourself to follow through, the stronger your discipline becomes. The third step is to remove distractions and temptations. If you struggle with procrastination, eliminate the things that pull you away from your work. If you want to eat healthy, don't keep junk food in your house. If you want to focus, put your phone in another room. Discipline is not just about willpower. It's about designing your environment for success. The final step is to accept that discipline is hard, but necessary. Most people search for an easier way. They want success without sacrifice. But the truth is, there is no shortcut. The road to success is paved with discipline. And if you are not willing to be consistent, you will never reach your destination. Look at your life right now. Where you are today is a result of the discipline, or lack of it, that you've had in the past. The good news is you can change. You can take control. You can develop the kind of self-discipline that makes success inevitable. But it starts with a decision to stop making excuses, a decision to stop letting your emotions dictate your actions, a decision to do what needs to be done. Every single day, discipline is power. If you master it, you can achieve anything. If you don't, you will always be a prisoner to your weaknesses. The choice is yours. Will you take control or will you let life control you? Number 10, build momentum and become unstoppable. Success doesn't come from working hard once. It doesn't come from short bursts of effort, followed by long periods of inaction. Success comes from momentum, building consistent action until progress becomes automatic. Momentum is the most powerful force you can create in your life. It turns small efforts into massive results. It makes hard tasks feel easier over time. It removes the need for constant motivation because your progress starts carrying you forward. When you build momentum, you stop questioning whether you should take action. You just do it. But most people never experience this because they keep starting and stopping. They work hard for a few days, then quit when they don't see immediate results. And every time they stop, they lose momentum, forcing themselves to start from zero again and again. Think about pushing a heavy boulder. At first, it takes all your strength just to make it move. But once it starts rolling, it gets easier. The momentum you've built keeps it going with less effort. Your goals work the same way. The hardest part is the beginning, when nothing seems to be happening, when every step feels like a struggle. But if you push through that resistance, if you stay consistent, eventually momentum takes over. The problem is, most people quit before that happens. They expect instant results, and when they don't see them, they stop. They assume their effort isn't working. But success doesn't come all at once. It's built over time. And the only way to reach it is to stay in motion long enough for momentum to take over. So how do you build momentum and make consistency unstoppable? The first step is to commit to taking action every single day. No matter how small, no matter how tired you are, no matter how little progress you think you're making, just take action. Even if it's only 5 minutes. Even if it's only one small step. What matters is that you keep moving. The second step is to remove the option of stopping. Most people give themselves an escape route. They say, I'll try or I'll see how it goes. But when you leave room for quitting, you will take it. Instead, decide right now that stopping is not an option. Success is not a matter of if, but when. The third step is to celebrate small wins. Momentum grows when you recognize progress. Too many people focus only on the end goal, ignoring the small victories along the way. But every bit of progress is proof that you are moving forward. When you acknowledge that, you reinforce the habit of consistency. The fourth step is to stack habits together. If you want momentum in one area of life, attach it to something you already do. If you already drink coffee every morning, use that time to review your goals. If you already work out, listen to an audiobook while training. By linking new habits to existing ones, you make them automatic, which makes staying consistent easier. The final step is to protect your momentum at all costs. The biggest mistake people make is allowing one missed day to turn into 2, then 3, then a week, then a month. Momentum can work against you just as easily as it works for you. If you start skipping workouts, skipping work, skipping commitments, you build negative momentum. And the more you allow yourself to break the pattern, the harder it becomes to restart. So never miss twice. If you fail one day, get back on track immediately. Forgive yourself, but don't let the setback turn into a habit. Consistency is built not by being perfect, but by refusing to quit. The truth is, momentum is what makes success feel effortless. When you've built it, you don't need to force yourself to take action. It becomes automatic. You don't rely on motivation. You rely on habit. You don't question whether you should work on your goals. You just do it because it's part of who you are. This is why the most successful people in the world don't stop once they achieve something. They keep going. They understand that the moment you stop moving forward, you start moving backward. The second you slow down, the process gets harder. That's why they stay in motion, always. So ask yourself, are you going to keep starting over? Or are you finally going to build momentum and make consistency unstoppable? Because once you do, success is no longer a question of if, it becomes inevitable. At this point, you know the truth. Success is not about luck. It's not about talent. It's not about waiting for the right moment. It's about consistency. It's about showing up, doing the work, and refusing to quit, no matter what. The difference between the people who succeed and the people who fail is simple. Winners take control of their actions. Losers wait for things to change. Winners don't let emotions dictate their behavior. They don't negotiate with excuses. They don't wait for motivation. They force themselves to be consistent until discipline takes over. You now have two choices. You can keep doing what you've always done, making excuses, starting and stopping, hoping things will somehow change. But if you do that, 5 years from now, you'll be in the exact same place, with the same frustrations, the same regrets, and the same unfulfilled potential. Or you can take control right now. You can decide that from this moment forward, inconsistency will no longer define you. You can commit to showing up every day, no matter how you feel. You can choose to stop making excuses, stop waiting for motivation, and start taking relentless action toward your goals. And here's the truth. You don't need permission. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need perfect circumstances. You just need to start right now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now, if you do this, your life will change. Not immediately. Not overnight. But if you stay committed, if you force yourself to be consistent, if you push through the difficult days, you will look back one day and realize you are a completely different person. The only question left is, are you ready to take control, or are you going to stay stuck? Make the decision now. Force yourself to be consistent and watch your entire life transform.